war is going to be fighting the heat. It's extremely hot down here. And tonight, you're going to have to drink lots of water and stay on top of your game to have a good night and go to victory lane. Guys?
Thanks, Hollywood. Take a look at the race analysis as we get ready for this one tonight. 200 laps. Pit road speed 35 miles per hour. There's a look at the pit road window. It's not just a short track. It's a flat one. Just 7.5 degrees banking in the corner, 2 degrees on the straights.
Oh, I tell you, that's going to be a tough one. I don't know if they're going to make it 125 to 130 laps. Usually on these short tracks, we see a lot of cautions, but hey, I could get surprised tonight.
You're right, Rusty. Earlier you said you got to relax, particularly early in the race. So these drivers are headed down the backstretch, know they're coming to the green. They got to take a deep breath and think about 200 laps, not the first 20.
Pace car pulls off the track in turn 3. Trevor Bayne, the pole sitter for the second year in a row here at O'Reilly Raceway Park. He'll start on the outside. Stephen Wallace starts on the inside. Those two on the front row, and they are going to lead them to green. It's the 29th consecutive year that they've run a nationwide race here at O'Reilly Raceway Park, and we are underway at ORP.
Boy, pretty clean start so far. Look at Jason Leffler's car, guys. A lot of damage. It's destroyed already. First corner, and it looks like we had a pileup on Leffler's 38 car.
Just a reaction situation where he got collected, the restart scrambled, mid-pack on, and he suffered for it.
Leffler staying on the track. I'm wondering how his vision is at this point as he's trying to maybe find a way off track. As you see Trevor Bayne still leading the way as it's started to filter out a little bit with Stephen Wallace charging here in the early laps.
Yeah, pretty good start except for Jason Leffler. I mean, we got a feel for him. He's had a lot of problems this year, but he's had fast cars all year long. And Vince, to start the race and wipe this car out in the first corner has got to be an unbelievable feeling for Jason and this entire team.
At a track where he has had success, to add insult to injury.
And it looks like the 12's got some damage on the front end. The 20 of Matt DiBenedetto has some as well. So seeing on the replay here, they just stacked them up on the outside. Keselowski got in that as well, your points leader. So significant damage to the 38 of Leffler. We can see that's going to likely end any chances or hopes he had of winning. But some other drivers, including the points leader, Brad Keselowski, with some damage to their cars.
You know, you can only see that car in front of you. You can't see the car in front of it and in front of it. So your reference is really narrow on the restarts or the initial start.
Okay, the guy got out of it with not much damage as Brad Keselowski. I mean, his car don't see much damage. But take a look at Leffler. It looks like the radiator's not tore out of it, but he's having a hard time seeing it also. The 20 car, Matt DiBenedetto, he's tore up big time also. So a lot of problems in the early going. And wow, these short tracks and flat stack you up.
Rusty, they want to keep going and catch a caution, stay on the lead lap, but they're both going to overheat.
So Leffler pulls off. He's coming to pit road.
I mean, I can't believe this has got to be the worst it's been for Jason Leffler. This poor guy has been wiped out. Rick, what do you see down there, buddy?
You can see an awful lot of bent sheet metal. The question is how much damage has been done. Crews waving up into the top, saying it looks like it's too much damage to repair out here on pit road. And remember, they don't have the normal garage setup like they normally have in the back. As a result, they're going to have to go back into the center, but not where their transporter is, not with all their spare parts.
Yeah, because this track is such a small track, the transporters, the haulers have to park outside the racetrack. So teams cannot go to the haulers to get parts to repair the cars. You see Edwards in the middle there, and there's Keselowski right on the bumper of Carl Edwards.
Oh boy, Keselowski almost hits the left rear of Carl Edwards and clears him barely.
Keselowski used really good judgment there, Rusty. He did not push the issue. He backed out. Only 8 laps into the race. That was the smart thing to do.
I'm taking a look at Keselowski's car, Ricky. Looks like he's got some damage on the left rear corner. I don't think anything is going to affect the car, but he's definitely got that quarter panel tore up just a little bit.
And here's a situation where the 22 car is better than the 2 cars in front of it, but you've got to use some sense and you got to use your experience and pull back the reins and say, I got to wait. I cannot push the issue.
Well, the probation issue front and center right away as we have Keselowski and Carl Edwards, the 2 guys that got into it last week at Gateway, both put on probation, and they're running bumper to bumper right out of the gate.
Yeah, Joe Ballast told us today, these guys, he expects them to give each other a little bit more room than they normally do. And right now, it looks like they kind of test each other's patience one more time. They're separating themselves now. But man, already the tempers are getting up. And remember, folks, it is blistering hot here at ORP tonight, almost 97 degrees.
So Keselowski, as you see the work on the Matt DiBenedetto JGR car, the Joe Gibbs car on the left side of your screen. Keselowski trying to get around Reed Sorensen and Colin Brown on the right side of your screen so he can try to close the gap on Carl Edwards. Now Trevor Bayne, your pole sitter, still in the lead. Stephen Wallace is still in second, so nothing has changed up at the front. Let's go down to Mike Massaro and check on the 20 at DiBenedetto.
The opposite of what Matt DiBenedetto wanted tonight. He came in extremely confident, excited about being at a short track, but already it looks like this night may be very short. Heavy front end damage. The car is overheating. They're pulling away sheet metal from the fenders, trying to get some air to the cooling area, to the radiator. It's just not working. Matt DiBenedetto just killed the motor, turned it off. They're going to roll it back. They're considering bringing it behind the wall, guys. This may be trouble.
Well, that's a heartbreaker for the Gibbs team because DiBenedetto was involved in that accident with his teammate Brad Coleman last week at Gateway, so was unable to finish. Now you see second place, third place, and fourth place battling here. Stephen Wallace in the 66. That's Paul Menard and the 18 of Kyle Busch, as Busch is trying to work the outside around Menard.
Vince, this is what's so great about this racetrack here at ORP. You got the bottom lane, the middle, the top. You see Stephen up on top of the racetrack with a lot of momentum. You see Paul Menard trying to get it going, and here comes Kyle Busch in the picture.
It's this kind of racing that you get on a short track, night in, night out. We always see it at O'Reilly Raceway Park, and we're not surprised that we're seeing it again tonight. And they are going at it from the drop of the green flag this evening. There's Menard pulling ahead, and Busch tried the inside this time with Stephen Wallace getting boxed out on the outside.
The outside lane is the most comfortable. It gives you a little more banking, a little more security. But the fast way is around the bottom of the racetrack. It's more difficult. It takes its toll on the tires, but it's the path you need to take if you're going to make passes.
Sorting out just a bit as Menard is in second, Busch in third, and Stephen Wallace has dropped back to fifth. Trevor Bayne still leads here at O'Reilly Raceway Park. O'Reilly Raceway Park in Indianapolis, NASCAR Nationwide Series action. There's the 22 of Brad Keselowski running in 10th. Got a little front nose damage after the stack him up at the start of the race at the drop of the green flag. But he and Carl Edwards right there behind him in the Fastenal Ford in 11th. Those two guys, for a couple of guys being on probation, they've been around one another all night long. As you see the good battle for fourth place now as Stephen Wallace is being challenged by the 88 of Eric Almirola. Now Almirola's got some pretty significant damage on the front end.
Yeah, on these short tracks, it doesn't take much for these cars to overheat. You saw some damage where it pushed in the opening where they need air for the radiator. It's going to be something to watch as he makes the pass.
Well, these drivers are already getting a little overheated inside the cockpit. There hasn't been enough damage in the first 23 laps of this race you would think they've been running 300 miles already. These things are tore up. Second place, look at Kyle Busch working with Paul Menard there on the inside. In fact, Kyle Busch has got some fender damage on the left front. A little damage there.
Busch driving it down a little bit deeper into the corner and takes second place away from Paul Menard. They're both chasing Trevor Bayne, who's the leader of this race, and you see the distance between them.
See Justin Allgaier working the inside of Ricky Stenhouse right there. He's been working him lap after lap on the entry of turn 3, trying to get underneath of him. Just can't seem to get there, but he showed some pretty good patience. In fact, Allgaier's got his nose tore up a little bit right under the front of the hood.
Stenhouse had a good run last week at Gateway, finished 9th, qualified 3rd here tonight for this race. Allgaier, he's already won a short track race this season earlier this year at Bristol, and he's right on the bumper of the 6.
There were so many opportunities for mistakes to make contact. If you're going to make a pass, you need to establish yourself in the middle of the corner. You need to get alongside a driver in the middle of the corner. Do not try to finish the pass in one turn. If it takes a lap and a half, do it methodically. And Allgaier's doing that. See, he gets positioned in the middle of the corner, maintain that on the exit, and then finish it in the next set of corners.
Yeah, and one thing you got to remember, Ricky, is that this racetrack's going to change a lot too. It's cooling down now. The handling is going to change. And the next pit stop, when it's coming up, these guys just need to stay working on their car. You know, stay patient, stay calm. Tell your crew chiefs what's going on and work on the car. Don't drive it too hard right now.
And neither you or I, Rusty, can describe to the folks watching this how busy it is on a small track. And not only are you occupied with the drivers around you and how your car feels, but at some point, like you said, you got to give some feedback. If you're going to make a